Hey, my name is Javed and I'm going to explain the phenomena of weather maps. My documentary will include the basic definition of the weather maps, how they're created and for what purpose they're used, and some of the basic characteristics of weather maps, like how are we going to read weather maps. So let's begin. Let's first begin with the main heading of weather maps and their symbols. A weather map is the representation of weather phenomena on the surface of Earth or a part of it on a paper. It's actually the conversion of three-dimensional weather into two-dimensional surface on the plain paper to create a synoptic chart. So let's figure out what weather actually is. Weather is the daily atmospheric condition of a particular area. It may include the precipitation, humidity, rainfall, thunder, snowfall, clouds, or the clarity or visibility. The weather is different on each part of the Earth depending upon the climatic conditions. Now let's talk about for what purpose the weather maps are used. Meteorologists use weather maps and tools to help them see weather patterns and forecast the weather. As we previously discussed, that weather maps have different types of symbols to see how the weather is different in the different parts of the country. So now we'll highlight these factors. Now that we have stated about the weather maps and their symbols, now we move toward the question how to read a weather map. As you can see, here is an example of a weather maps on which A is written and L is written, and some cross lines are drawn which are parallel and anti-parallel and perpendicular to each other. But what do they mean? It would be hard to understand what they mean without having a key or a symbol of it. So for this purpose, we mainly use the symbols of the weather map, which are likely to be fixed for each and every weather map, because like every weather map also has conventional signs and its particular symbols, which are obviously used to represent the weathers of an area, because each time we cannot draw the weather on the paper plane. So for these reasons, we have designed some symbols by meteorologists and we use them, and we have to take a complete awareness of them after studying them, so that it may help us to read the weather maps properly. Here you can see there are many of the symbols given that are used while drawing a weather map. For example, the first one symbol, which is like an oval zero shape, it represents the pure air. Next, haze, mist. So there are a lot of symbols that are given here so that we can have a proper understanding of what a weather map is showing us. Here you can see there are many of the symbols given that are used while drawing a weather map. For example, the first one symbol, which is like an oval zero shape, it represents the pure air. Next, haze, mist. So there are a lot of symbols that are given here so that we can have a proper understanding of what a weather map is showing us. Out of these cross lines are the weather maps. The first one are the isobars. These are the lines that are connecting the places of equal air pressure on the weather maps. The next of the cross lines include the isotherms. These are the lines which are connecting the places of equal temperature on the surface of the earth. Isoheights. These are those lines which represents the places with equal amount of rainfall. This is the average amount of rainfall which is taken for a specific time period. As the sunshine is also a weather element, so isohills are those lines which represent those places that have equal average amount of sunshine over the day. As same as the previous one, isonefs are those lines which represent the same cloud cover. This is the term which defines that how much cloudy the sky was. It affects the visibility usually, and it is mostly more affecting towards the flights. There are different types of maps and they give us different information. This one is a Doppler map. It's a map taking using a Doppler radar. It can give you different information such as rainy areas, runs in the air pressures, and these are the weather elements. So basically it is a type of a weather map. This is a symbol of the cooler, which is called a cold front. As we know that when the warm air rises, it condenses and precipitates in the form of rainfall. So the middle step between this chain is the cooler, and to represent in which areas the cooler exists, we use this symbol on the weather. This symbol represents the warmer air, as in the first step of the chain we clearly know that this air is mostly near to the down surface of the earth from where it rises. This symbol is a stationary front, which means that it will represent those areas where there is neither warm air nor the cooler air. This symbol will represent likely more to those areas where there is more clarity and less of the movement of the air. As you can see here is a large H written, which means that the area of high pressure. As we discussed previously while studying the weather maps, that on the weather maps there were somewhere written H while somewhere were written L. So H usually represents the high pressure, which usually refer to nice and clear weather, whereas L represents the area of lower air pressure, which usually means that there would be clouds, there would be rain, or there would be snow. So this was some basic information regarding the weather maps. Hope it was more than a basic courtesy. Thank you very much regarding Javed. So this was some basic information regarding the weather maps. Hope it was more than a basic courtesy. Thank you very much regarding Javed.